Greetings and salutations, and we're going to be going back on the Woodless run. Now, the gentleman, I believe he's a gentleman in the comments, has stated to me that you can only find crafting tables in very specific villages. And knowing my luck and knowing my um, chances, it's looking pretty grim to find that crafting table. So, want to I do want to get the crafting table. I do want to get that and then bait some creepers into blowing up some cobblestone so I can get my hands on some stones so I can make a pickaxe. I don't want to kill my horse. Don't get me wrong, it looks like my on a Top Gun, and believe me, that thing is a train wreck of a horse anyway, so but having this amount of incredible speed and having a bed and having food and so I can conserve my stamina and my health. Sorry. Sorry, horse. That's just more of that. That's just more of that stupid oak. Is that near a taiga? I need to know. I also need to not have my horse freeze to death. So imagine the locals, right? You're running around with a horse running across the treetops. Imagine the stories they'd have. They'd be like, you'll never believe it. I saw a horse riding across the treetops, across the leaves and branches. Of course, everybody would be like, you're right, I don't believe it. Oh, that's not good at all. Told you that wasn't good. Horse? This way, horse. They're going to turn into drown, and when they do, they're going to come back up for me. Oh, good, a witch. That's exactly what I needed. Because, my journey's not complete without being bombarded by witches throwing pots of death at me. That was the lead. That was the lead that just snapped. Okay, I gotta get back to the high ground. Without being... There we go. What are we trying to accomplish here? We're trying to accomplish getting our hands on a crafting table and not dying. Um, hmm, that. I haven't seen one of them before. That's new. You know what they need to add to Minecraft? This is honestly what I've thought, and because I can no longer say copper armor because they're doing that. So great. Take forever. Well, I heard that. Oh, I hear all of that. None of that is good. I'm on hard difficulty, so my life total does not go very far. Avoiding conflict is the smartest thing I can do. Because if I die and it resets all my progress, oof. Ooh, cannot mine that. Cannot mine the tree. Must avoid. Like, I could sit here and break leaves all day, because the leaves don't lead to... Oh, it's turning nighttime. Well, if that's the case, gonna be turning nighttime here shortly. There's a squid. You know what? Stand corrected. Let us ford on. Oh, on horse. Well, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know which way I'm traveling. I don't, and it's terrible because I don't. I'm down in a chasm now. I can barely see the bottom. Anybody, for anybody else's world, they'd be like, "Oh man, that's a dream location. What are you doing, man?" For me, it's a nightmare. Gonna be turning to night soon, and I need my horse. And there's the drowned, and it better not be my horse drowning. And I want it to go to daytime so that I could get the horse up here, so that I could get on it, ride it, and then go up the hill. Like, trying to get my hands on a crafting table is like the hardest hurdle to overcome right now. You wouldn't think so, right? You'd think, oh, well, yeah, it's just a crafting table. Well, villagers need more crafting tables. And I never do the whole bonus starting chest thing either. No. You're talking about a generation that was raised on, like, super ghosts and goblins. Or just ghosts and goblins. You know? Talking about an era of people that grew up hard nosed with really difficult games. Um, in my haste to get the horse up here, I may be making tragic errors. Well, now I have gravel. Horse. He's jumping for joy. Look at that. Okay. Now that that's established, take that off. We'll get on the horse. And because it's a horse and it doesn't have a name, it reminds me of that song, "Horse with No Name." If you know if you know the song I'm talking about, you'll know exactly what I'm referencing. It was an older song. I believe it was sung by Simon and Garfunkel. I believe. I could be wrong about that. Probably have to look that up so that I don't look like a complete buffoon. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here donkey punching my horse. Yeah. If I can get up this side of the hill, Oh boy. Um. Wait, what am I doing? Brother, you could just build yourself a stairway to heaven. Kinda. Fine, it's just that same, gamer's mini heart attack that everyone gets when they they make a poor jump in a game and their character doesn't operate the way they want it to, and they have that minor like you feel that little gasp as you worry about your character's health. You're like, "Mm." Same thing. Okay, so up there, but I would, yeah, okay. What? They've got to be under me. They absolutely have to be under me. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, they need to add vampires to Minecraft, and I don't mean through a mod or anything. I'm saying like kind of like Oblivion, right? I hear them. They're burning alive up there. I'm basically going into the lion's den of skeletons. The Skellion's den, effectively. Normally, I wouldn't care this much about a horse. I'd be like, all right, whatever, it's a horse, right? But, this amount of fast transit without burning stamina saves on food, which lengthens the journey. Which, if we remember the first 2 days of my journey. What is going on here? Oh, too far. Do not do that, horse. Do not do that. That is the thing you should not be doing. Oh, boy. Okay, so let's go this way. Not down there. Not over there. That's all bad. All of those sound bad. Nobody likes spiders. Okay, so I'm in the tundra. That's not the tundra. I'm in the frozen north of a mountain. Okay, so that means finding. I might be able to find a taiga village up here. That might actually be the answer to my prayers. Run, horse, as fast as your little legs can carry you. But not into the crevasse. Um, that's a village, right? Over there? I'm gonna go get a good look at the lay of the land here. Okay, I've clearly got to be. Yeesh. That crevasse is not a happy thing for me. That's got to be a village of some description down there. Not good. Not good. Stupid powder snow. That's not a village. What is that? I'm gonna go investigate what that is. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna go look at it because curiosity. And no, I'm not a cat, so I don't have to worry about it killing me. Till it does, at which point I'll be a cat. Ow. Sorry, horse. My bad. I did not think near long enough about the descent, my friend. Usually getting down a mountain is much easier than going up a mountain, but in the case of me and this horse here, it seems like going up a mountain is much easier. Okay, so it's just an outcropping of failure. Okay. Well, back this way. That's a cold mountainous region, so let's keep going this way and maybe we'll find taiga? Maybe. There's some more bees. How come you can't put a lead on a bee? Is that because you don't believe enough? Like, believe? Bee lead? Don't stop bee leading? Ooh, another village. Not a taiga, but we will check. It may have one. Well, that's tragic. Well, come on, horse. I mean, the fact that I've had to do this and ferry my horse across, what, 3 rivers now? 2 of which were in a canyon? At least it was 3 rivers. Maybe it was 4. I'm losing count. It's like, 50 days into the game by now, and my character's going mildly insane. I haven't been through a desert on a horse with no name yet. So, once I find a desert, then I can go through the desert on a horse with no name. That's a weird outcropping. I don't like it. It's strange and unusual. It's a lot of horses. We're going to tie you right there. You stay. Investigation. Well, investigation is turning up nothing right now. You know, villagers, I'm going to make the wild assumption here. Take a carrot? Take a beet? Probably take a couple carrots. Let's have to plant something, wouldn't it? Got it. I got an idea. Oh, those are potatoes, not carrots. Oh, well, fine. I will replant your potatoes with potatoes. Okay, by actually putting them in the thing. Thought they were carrots. My apologies. Wandering trader that's not going to want anything I've got. Myriad of horses. What we got in here? That's upgrade gear. Why wouldn't you be a crafting table? Like, if it was a crafting table, that would have been absolutely phenomenal, and I could have started my journey. Oh. Well. Don't be pushing my horse all over creation. Don't mind me. Sleep outside. Surely the village won't mind. They didn't seem to care. Probably sitting there looking at me like, see that new guy that moved in? Guy's a bum. He rides in on a horse and then just sits there. Oh, wait, that's a smoker. I could make smoked meats. Doesn't help me. I need a crafting table. You fellas have everything under the sun except a crafting table. You got a cauldron. For what? I'm trying to procure a crafting table, and you are just not allowing me. Alright, we're gonna see what this wandering trader's got. Notice how they like penned him in because they don't want him to leave. 4 baked potatoes for an emerald. I could technically do that, but then I still can't buy anything off of him. Except maybe the buckets of tropical fish. Empty the buckets and carry the water. Trade it, get an emerald. Trade enough of the emeralds, turn around. Profit? Huh. No, I feel like that would be disingenuous to the system. Besides, I can't even use the wood. That's village number 3 that turned up nothing. It was a bust. At least it's maybe stop and pause. But no, back to the whole vampire discussion. Alright? Think about it. Let's say they added vampires to Minecraft. So, you can get it from whatever, but because they've added bats, and I thought to myself, okay, you know, vampire bats would be kind of cool. So you could get vampirism. And then you can make a potion to cure vampirism if need be. But, let's take a look at it from the perspective of a Minecraft world, right? You had vampires. So now, as a vampire, you can no longer get health off of food. You can no longer get regeneration off of food. You now have a blood supply instead of a hunger supply, right? But you're not allowed to feed on animals. You have to feed on villagers. Which means as a vampire, you'd have to be near a village. But there's a drawback here. The drawback is, if the villagers catch you feeding on one of their own, they become hostile. And the iron golem comes out and pummels you into the dirt. Making it extremely difficult to get your supply, right? Now, here's the other difficulty. Oh boy, I'm running out of dirt. It's not good. This is not good. Yeah. Halfway across, and we busted. Busted out of dirt here. Sand does not help me right now. Unless I can make sandstone blocks. I can make 9 of them, but that's not going to take me far enough. Okay. Go reclaim some of the dirt, and then go back. But anyway, your vampirism... Don't do that, horse. I thought I just got absolutely ambushed by something. Do not do that, horse. Holy crap, that spooked me. And I'm hard to spook with a jump scare. I know that's magma stone, right? I've had enough of reclaiming this stuff. I gotta get across here. So I'm just gonna wade into it. Anyhow. So, after your 3rd day of being a vampire, right? Before the stuff comes out at night. So once you've actually transformed into a vampire, you now have to go feed on villagers. You can no longer feed on other things, like you can no longer feed on cooked food, you can no longer feed on bread. None of that's applicable anymore. And he moves quicker in the water than I do. Well, that's not fun. So anyhow, once you get to the point where you are now feeding on the villagers for your food supply, you then have to make sure the villagers never figure out that you are the vampire, right? Lest you have to move. So, in preventing that from happening, it'll lead to some interesting interactions. Now, you could go even one further and make it so that if you do get found out, the villagers become openly hostile. Meaning, if you ever set foot in their village again, they immediately run inside, shut their doors, and iron golems show up to quickly dispatch the vampire, right? If you walk out during the day, you'll start taking damage. At night, the creatures are less aggressive because, well, you're now a creature of the night just as they are, but they still are aggressive, just less aggressive. Your day-night bed cycle would be reversed. So once you're stricken with vampirism and you lay down in bed at night, it makes you sleep through the day. You would gain other benefits like night vision, so you can see at night. And other things like charming villagers, so on and so forth. Which, if you charm, like say the wandering trader, he gives you discounts on your trades, so on and so forth. And he kind of he would kind of be less leery around you. Because if you were to just go around as like, Johnny Bloodsucker the Vampire, right? Villager, the trading villager there, the wandering trader, would just be like, no. That guy's weird. I'm not going over there. But it would be said in such a way of like, However, it would just be an interesting. I think it would be an interesting thing where it would just reverses the day-night cycle for you, and you have to function differently. You would obviously gain more strength. You would gain the ability to jump higher. Another village, also over a chasm. Noticing a trend of villages over chasms. Anybody else noticing this trend? I'm noticing this trend. Pepperidge Farm notices. I see all sparkly and green. He had to have farted. Had to have been gas. I have a feeling they're not going to be in little houses. I have a feeling they're going to be in big, important, like log cabins or big structures. But, like, you wouldn't be able to invade the villagers' homes as a vampire because the lore-wise, you have to invite a vampire in. So you'd have to charm the villager that lives in that building before you could slip into their door. which means you'd have to come out right about now at dusk, show up to the village, catch a villager while it's walking, charm it, slip in, feed on it, slip out, without, of course, waking the villager, so on and so forth. It would be an interesting little juxtaposition, I think. And it would be something worth exploring for funsies as an idea. Do I think they're going to do that? Absolutely not. I don't think Minecraft will ever do such a thing solely because they would probably be met with a lot of resistance from vampire purists who sit there and they're like, oh, but it doesn't look like Edward from whatever. Was it Edward? I can't remember. I can't even remember the name of the movie or the book. Because all these people were like, oh, I'm team what's his name or team what's his face. And I'm like, I'm team Belmont. And they're like, who's Belmont? And I'm like, Simon Belmont. The man who had balls of steel, spent most of his life whipping vampires to death. Like, realistically think about that, right? Oh, there went the hydraulics in my chair. They just sank. But realistically think about that, right? You have Simon Belmont. Everybody's like, who cares about Simon Belmont? And it's like, this is a man who, when tasked to attack, when tasked to go into Dracula's manor and kill Dracula, he just kind of looked at him and was like, sure. Let me get my whip. Your whip. Wait. Oh, I'm still on the horse with a lead in my hand. Interesting. Did not know you could do that. That's new and different to me, I guess. Well, that's not good. Because that's powder snow. Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted. Because not only can your character freeze to death, so can your horse. We learned that one the hard way. No, most of the kids today don't even know who Simon Belmont is. Or the less popular Richter Belmont. They're like, who are they? And I'm like, Simon Belmont is like the OG vampire killer, my friend. Like, imagine the cojones on the guy, right? They're like, Dracula has risen from the grave. And he's just like, all right, let me just go grab my whip and I'll take care of it for you. Canonically, vampires die by things like, stake through the heart, holy water. Lesser extent is garlic. And to an even lesser extent is, like holy iconography. But pretty sure in every vampire piece of lore, nowhere did it mention whips. Is that a bridge? That's a bridge. That's my bridge. I've come full circle. No. No way. Well, if I have, I have. But I'm pretty sure whips weren't high on the list of, deadly weapons to vampires. And people are like, well, his whip was an enchanted whip. It was the Morning Star. Call it whatever you want, but the man is going and whipping an immortal, blood-sucking demon. For fun. Okay. I highly doubt anybody has anywhere near that type of swagger that they could just be like, "Yep, I did that once." But it wasn't just Dracula. No, no, no. He whipped more than that too. Let's see. He whipped Succubus. He whipped the Frankenstein's monster. He whipped Medusa. He whipped. Hold on, it'll come to me in a second. Oh yeah, that's right. Death. The encounter right before you fight Dracula is Death, and he beats him with a whip. Sure. Name me another individual that's like, yeah, I sent Death back to Death with my whip. But that's just a normal Tuesday for the old Belmont family, I guess. Oh yeah, I've been here before. Definitely been here before. I remember that circular hole in the ground. I remember that village. I have been here before. I have circled. I've gone in a complete circle. I remember planting those trees, which aren't growing because they're above the tree line. This was the village that got attacked by zombies while I was here, wasn't it? Sure was. It's on a cliffside. Oh man, this is this is the village I died in, wasn't it? No, the village I died in had a. Oh, it is the village I died in. I died right over there in that house multiple times by a baby villager zombie, and then a baby zombie right next to him. Like they sat there chewing on my kneecaps, and I would respawn right there in the building. And of course, the baby villager was on fire because he didn't have sunlight protection. The baby zombie had sunlight protection because he had a helmet on. That's where I got my fancy helmet. Okay, not the horse, but okay, not my character. You know what I mean. My character's wearing a fancy gold helmet. I got it from that zombie, as a matter of fact. Looks like gold chip. And if you have to be a horse, be gold chip. Speaking of, did you know that Gold Chip is the only horse that's still alive from the original Uma Musume cast? All the horses in Uma Musume, aside from Gold Chip, are now deceased. This past year took two of them. It took Haru Urara and Grass Wonder. And with those two gone, the only horse left alive is Gold Chip, which just further proves the point that all of the old cantankerous people live the longest. Did I pick up the bed that I put down in that village? Yes, I did. Ooh, 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 ooh. I was getting nervous. Very, very nervous. No, not the... Okay, I'll take the lead, I guess. But oh yeah, I forgot. I can't sleep up here on the treetops. Can't be George of the Jungle up here. Oh, but I can. I can. I can. Aha. Gotta be smarter than what you're working on. Horse? No, horse. Don't you dare. Smarter than what you're working on, that's all. Can't put a bed on grass and leaves. Gotta put it on dirt. Yes, I know. So we've already gone that way, which means we're going this way now. I don't know where it'll lead or where it'll take us. I don't think I've been through enough sand. Really? Sunrise, go behind the horizon already, would you? But if that leads to a desert, I can find possibly a desert village and maybe get a crafting table there. Come on. There we go. Sleep through the night, wake up the next day. Like, the positioning has to be pinpoint. That's the weirdest part about this. Because the horse's jump is, like, very delayed. So having this horse jump and try to get somewhere is, a tragic... it's just tragic failure. Oh, that's... Oh, it's turtles. Okay. I heard that sounded like the sound of a creeper, and I was like, wait a minute. Let's not be too hasty here. I don't need to blow up on I don't need to get blown up by a creeper. And it's just those turtles moving around on the sand. I know I've been this way, I can tell. That's the deep jungle again. So I need a new game plan. Something's not working here. Alright. Run along the coastline until I find something I like. Like, this is just insanity, right? Really, horse? How do you not? I swear this horse hates me. It just wants to do its own thing. It's not interested in being my companion for this giant sojourn. Maybe it's tired of running across the treetops. We don't know. We'll figure it out. Figure it out later. Oh boy, more water. The bane of every horse ride. The ocean. There's more beach coastline, which is fine. I don't mind coastline. I don't mind beaches. Beaches equal sand, equal deserts, which possibly mean desert villages. Of which I'm comfortable with. See, now I've been on a desert, been through a desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. Was in the desert. You can't remember your name. Yeah, that's the song, by the way. A lot of the people that are out there that are viewers and watching a lot of YouTube don't really understand like vintage music. Like, for example, music I grew up with, right? I grew up with music of the 50s. I grew up with music of the 60s, the 70s. Um, and no, I wasn't born like in the 50s, but because if I was born in the 50s, I'd look very good for my age. I wasn't born in the 50s. However, I do remember like a lot of those old malt shop memories music, right? My really horse. I swear, every time this horse just does not want to cooperate. I can't afford to lose the lead. I need that. Can't lose the lead. Can't lose the bed. Can't lose the horse. I mean, I guess out of all things, the horse would be acceptable losses. But if it died, I'd have to get the saddle. I'd have to at least reclaim the saddle. So, yeah. No, I remember these songs because my parents listened to a very diverse um, series of music, right? I mean, we're talking everything from the malt shop memories to the music of the 60s that was very rebellious and highly political, music of the 70s, which was basically acid rock for the most part. You had some disco, you had some 70s funk in there too, like not Storm, Earth, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire. You had some 70s funk. And the 70s funk was a good music genre. A lot of people, they just think disco when they think 70s. They think like Bee Gees, um, stuff like that. Saturday Night Fever, that kind of thing, right? And while that is true, and I did listen to that too, you also had groups like Foreigner, which was late 70s. It was at the early 80s rock of Foreigner. And then, of course, you had, people like Journey, Africa, Asia, Europe, Boston. Oh, and then, of course, the bigger names of like the 1980s, Michael Jackson, Pat Benatar. Yes was in the 70s too. They had Roundabout and a couple others in the 70s. Roundabout was the one that they got well known for because it became a meme. It was synonymous with the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure meme. Um, so Roundabout became, oh my god, that's death. I'm touching none of the sand here. If I touch the sand here, I will literally fall to my demise. This it's all over a chasm. Well, we're gonna continue that way along the coastline, I guess. Like the music, and then I grew up listening to all these songs, and then of course I got exposed to other music too, like Green Day back when they first came out, Metallica, uh, all the stuff of the '90s, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, you name it. I pretty much listened to it all the way up through, and then I just kind of stopped listening to a lot of the modern music right around 2002, 2003, 2004. And the reason is because it came so hollow and empty, right? That's the weirdest thing. You wouldn't think it did, but it did. Like, music felt empty in those years. So let's get a lay of the land before we do anything. I'm not going that way because that's where I came from. So it's that way or bust now. I'm walking around all this coastline. Yeah, you can see him out there. See that guy with the trident? He hits me with a trident and I'm almost dead. If you get hit with a trident without armor on, that is a legitimate eight heart just evaporation. FS on hard. It's not. It is not conducive to survival. Oh, that's not good. There's gonna be too many monsters nearby to fall asleep, I think. Stay over there with the trident there, buddy. Yeah, see that? The armor was supplied by zombies. Yep. I can just, if I can just lay down before they come over too close. No, no, no. I need that lead. Woof. I mean, now I'm surrounded, but I was able to go through the night. So, let's see. That was the direction I came from. That is the horse out of the way. That's the direction I'm going. Um, oh boy. All right. Really? I'm going to be ending it here soon. I'm going to pull up here to this next little continent. Feels like I'm playing Civilization 6, but in Minecraft. Whoa. Not good. Ow. That was a 3.5 heart. With the armor. That was 3.5 hearts with the armor on. Imagine what it would have been with the armor off. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ride the coastline. Get away from the deep water as much as possible. Ride the coastline. Ooh. You heard that, didn't you? I did. Lots of gurgles and everything under the water. Not good. Now I know that there's creatures out in the desert that pop up and attack during the day. Yeah, the desert wraiths or whatever they're called. I don't have a problem with that. Unfamiliar lands. Lovely. Well, we'll find something, I'm sure. But I listened. I used to like back to the whole music thing. I was in a very tense moment there. So pardon the tension. But aside from the aside from the music thing, like I did stop listening to modern music because it felt like it lost heart and soul. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, music used to be about writing your emotions, whatever they were. For some people, it was anger. For some people, it was love. For some people, it was frustration. For Fleetwood Mac, it was basically they all hated each other, and so they wrote music about one another. Um, that's a death hole. When you get to be as far as I've gotten in this game, you recognize a death hole when you see it. Another one. And for some others, it was about rebellion. I mean, just look at the Ramones, the Dead Kennedys, like the Sex Pistols. Any of them used to be about rebellion, right? So you look now, and the music's like all the same. It's almost like it's lacking heart and soul now, and it's a shame. It's like they need to go back to the point of playing good music. You know what I mean? Making good music. But I'm gonna leave that there because that right there is the most poignant thing ever. The rainstorm comes in and puts a dour mood on everything. Well, I've made a complete circle. I've found a new village and it yielded nothing. So, upon finding the whole village and then yielding nothing and then making a complete circle, I found that is what it is, I guess. Um, Moving forward, I'm still going to try to find the village that has a crafting table. I'm still going to try to get to the nether. We are hoping to get somewhere. Also, um, due to uh, an event, due to an event inside of Call of Duty 6, Black Ops 6, there is a new weapon at which I can do a brand new episode of But Will It Snipe? I get the feeling that it will already. I get the feeling that it'll have the power, but the accuracy is what I call into question on this one. So you'll see when I get there. But that's going to be probably the next video I record right after this one. So this one will go up on Sunday, and then on Monday you will see the But Will It Snipe, and then on Tuesday I think I'm going to do another Terraria. I still have to find a way in Terraria to beat either Skeletron, the worm, or the bee. I gotta come up with something, and I'm struggling. But I think so much. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I did, even though it's me waxing philosophically and poetically about my past and about what's going on in the game, and trying to desperately find a crafting table without running in circles. I'm gonna keep going on this until I at least get established, and once I get to a point, then it's gonna happen. But I gotta get that crafting table first. I gotta cross that first bridge. Once I cross that first bridge, it's gonna be smooth sailing. I thank everybody for coming out and watching, and I thank everybody for just tuning in. And if you enjoy the other videos on the channel, I'm more than happy to play more of those. I'm more than happy to take recommendations. If I have the game, I will play it. I am planning on getting Battlefield 6. Mostly because Black Ops 7 is looking less and less fun, in my opinion. And Battlefield 6, as much as I'm terrible at it, just had a nice look and feel to it. So I had it in that direction. And other than that, I'm looking forward to Pokemon Champions. You'll see a lot of Pokemon Champions content on the channel when that comes out. I'd say that right now because I do like competitive battling. I just don't like Regulation J that they're on. Regulation H was great. Regulation I sucked. Regulation G sucked. Regulation H was amazing. J sucks, and I don't know if they're gonna do Regulation K. I'm not getting Pokemon Legends ZA not until it goes on like holiday sale, and even then, it might be like, yeah, I got to spare $20 in my pocket, pitch it at it, but not for me. It's not revving the engine, so to speak. Legends Arceus was okay, but Legends ZA almost comes across like they're trying to imitate Pal World as like revenge, and they're hoping that it's going to get a lot of. They're hoping it's going to get a ton of money. I don't think it's going to. I think Pokemon Legends ZA is going to underperform. I think it's going to perform worse than Arceus, to be honest with you. And I think it's going to be because of what they've been doing litigiously, personally. But yeah, I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.